So, what do you get to keep and pass along to your family before Medicaid kicks in? It's actually a pretty small list. Hi, Jeff Versace, the Plain English Attorney, and welcome to the video. Medicaid is one of the most effective and most needed programs when it comes to caring for seniors and our most vulnerable citizens. However, the rules are designed to be extremely complex so that families will tend to throw their hands up in frustration, spend everything they have, and then only have the government pay once they are flat broke. That wasn't the original intent of Medicaid, but it seems like that is precisely what it has become. So, who exactly qualifies for Medicaid? There are four main tests you must meet in order to get Medicaid to pay the nursing home bill. But before we get into those, there is one huge, indelible, overriding rule you must follow.
If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel.
Do not go to the Medicaid office for answers. The Medicaid caseworker is not your friend. They are not there to help you save the most money possible. They work for the government, and it is their job to help you spend every penny you worked your whole life to save before approving benefits. In one case, a father and son didn't want to hire me and my team to create a workable Medicaid plan for mom. And instead, they went to the Medicaid office and, oh, gave us a free plan. More than a year later, they came back after following the advice from the Medicaid caseworker, and they asked about a Medicaid friendly immediate annuity suggested by that caseworker for mom's IRA. The caseworker had talked them into spending more than $100,000 of dad's money on mom's care, going into debt, taking out a home equity line of credit against the house to pay some of mom's hospital bills. And now they were going to get an immediate annuity with mom's IRA money payable to mom as income each month, which would have had to go to the nursing home anyway if Medicaid was picking up the rest of the bill, if it was approved. In the end, they needlessly lost hundreds of thousands of dollars and even went into debt because they didn't want to spend less than $10,000 on professionals to help protect everything. We call this pinching pennies while leaking dollars. And it happens all of the time when you go to the Medicaid office instead of an experienced attorney or certified Medicaid planner for help. Having the right knowledge from professionals on your side can help you avoid problems like this. Knowing exactly what the qualification requirements are is a good starting point. So here are the four tests. Test number one is age. Now, for the type of long term care Medicaid that we're looking at, the general age is 65, although there are many exceptions for specific illnesses and conditions to the point that age isn't really that much of a factor. So, we're not going to spend more time on this, mainly because listing every exception and the qualifiers could take hours. So, we're going to move right along to the second test, and that is medical need. Long term skilled nursing care Medicaid is specifically to help those who have a demonstrated need based on activities of daily living, often simply labeled as ADLs. When someone needs help with specific basic living tasks that we generally take for granted, and those needs are certified by a physician, then the medical test can be met. The five activities of daily living are eating, dressing, bathing, toileting, and mobility. Now, within those ADLs, there also has to be certain levels reached in order to qualify for specific numbers of ADLs that get you to the Medicaid. To qualify, an individual must have a medical condition, disability, or cognitive impairment and demonstrates unmet needs for three of the five ADLs with limited hands on assistance, or two ADLs, one of which requires extensive assistance, or two ADLs, one of which requires assistance at the full dependence level. In other words, a person really needs to be in a skilled nursing environment in order for long term care Medicaid to kick in.
If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel.
And it is this framework, in conjunction with the doctor's diagnosis, that has an individual meet the medical needs tests. To boil this down, a doctor needs to fill out a one-page form, an FL2, and have that submitted along with the Medicaid application. Now, this form can easily be found online if you want to see exactly what's in it and how a doctor has to put it together and submit it. Now, going on to the third test, that's income. Now, when it comes to income, you should just basically assume that all of the income goes to the nursing home facility first, and then Medicaid picks up the rest. If your income is sufficient to pay the nursing home bill on its own, then okay, you're not going to get Medicaid. There's no need for Medicaid to pay for anything. Now, some states for nursing home Medicaid, they have an income limit. But this is largely bypassed by a special needs Miller Trust, and this was created by a judicial court settlement. The income rule does allow you to apply now some income to a few exempt costs. Now, you're allowed to keep a personal needs allowance each month, but anything you don't spend accumulates and becomes part of that monthly asset test that you need to minimize. And we'll see that in the next test. In 2024, North Carolina actually increased the personal needs allowance from $30 to $60 per month. You're also allowed to apply income towards any necessary medical expenses that fall outside of what Medicaid pays for. And that includes things like deductibles on doctor's visits, copays on procedures, and things like that. And then finally, you're allowed to apply income towards health insurance premiums, including Medicare supplements or Medicare Advantage plans. Just because Medicaid is covering the long term care costs doesn't mean there won't be any other costs for rehabilitative medical care. And the government doesn't want to place that full bill on the government because you went broke to pay for nursing home care. They want you to be able to have that health insurance to handle the non skilled nursing care needs. Now, fourth test, and this is the big one that we mostly see when we're talking about trying to save money for the family, it's the asset test. Now, this is the most crippling and misunderstood of the test because it seems like you have to drain off everything you worked your whole life for just to pay for care before you qualify for Medicaid. It's also among the tests that have the most loopholes and outlets to convert and save money that can be passed along to the family if it's done the right way. So, here are just some statistics to be aware of. The national average stay in a nursing home is now 28 months. The national average monthly cost of staying at a nursing home is $9,733 per month. So now this makes the average cost of someone in the US staying at a nursing home $272,524. Now, I don't know too many families who would want to spend their life savings to pay for that care when there are alternatives. So, what do you get to keep and pass along to your family before Medicaid kicks in? It's actually a pretty small list. There's one primary residence with an equity limit. Now, North Carolina has a $713,000 equity limit in 2024. So that's pretty high up there. Different states have different limits on equity. You get to keep one vehicle and liquid assets up to $2,000. That's it. As an individual, that's all you get to keep, and the rest needs to be spent before Medicaid kicks in to handle what your income doesn't cover of that nursing home bill each month. But even that is not truly what you get to pass along to your family unless you set it up the right way. By the time someone qualifies for Medicaid, their largest asset, if they even still have it, is their primary residence. However, Medicaid routinely puts a lien against the house when the person passes on. So even if the house is sold, most or all of the proceeds go back to the state. No one but the government wants that. If you've made it this far, then please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications to make sure you don't miss any of this important information. And share this video with people who may need to see it. Now, like I said, there are a lot of loopholes, techniques, and recharacterizations that can be done to save assets and keep them from being spent or claimed by Medicaid. So, to see more of what those rules are, please check out the free program we have at freemedicaidcourse.com and see how much more of that, more than $250,000 that you can save from the nursing home by planning ahead the right way. Now, as I always tell my clients, please stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. And whatever you do, make it a great day.